All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Rational Investor. This is Julian, Baby Powder Report, reporting in from still a closet. It's a closet, but I turned it to face the window, so we have something outside. The new green screen is coming. It was supposed to be here today, but it's not. So maybe tomorrow. And then next week, maybe we can do something cool with the background with the green screen. I had the other one, but it wasn't working well. So it's a work in progress. But I know the main reason you guys are here is to hear what I think about what's going on with the market. I know I haven't been updating much on the site. Why have I not been updating? Well, when I don't update, I think you guys know why. The reason is because I don't really have any trades. I don't have anything. The market is in a very confusing location. There's no clear direction for me. So I just sit out on the sidelines, and that's kind of what's been happening at this time. And that's why I've not been posting or updating with trades. When I have very clear trades that I'm super confident in, I post about them. If I don't have anything going on, I don't really post. So let's talk about what's been going on. Why don't I pull up the dashboard? We'll take a look at the dashboard. And I think it actually turned negative. Let me see, pull it up here. Rational Investor. And we go to that and we'll take a look at that really quick. And then we'll take a look at some news and a couple other things going on right now. Of course, options as usual. Let me move my screen over. I should have had this loaded beforehand because it always loads a little bit slow while I'm running the stream. Seems to be the video ninja, which causes the biggest issues. I'm gonna change to a new share, and I'm gonna share here. Share this. Rational Investor. Okay, let's go to the dashboard. And then I also want to load some other stuff to show you guys. Max Pain options. Let's bring that over. Okay. And we also want Forex Factory. Let's bring that over. Okay. We don't need this. All right, so here's the dashboard. Loading. We'll go to the breadth. Okay. So Dow Industrials was positive for quite a while. We had a crossover on January 13th and then a push back up on the up until the 24th, 25th, and then a rollover again. Same with transports. Seems like it's forming a bit of an M. If we go down, S&P crossed over hard on the 17th, and it's either forming possibly a M or a W. It's not clear at the moment what's going on with the breadth here. It is negative. So technically our model would have went short on the 17th. Taking profits went short on the 17th. Let's see what's going on with the crypto one. Crypto. I'm just going to click on crypto top 30 here. Let's just look at crypto top 30. That's what I normally prefer to look at. Loading. Okay. Wow. Crossed over hard on January 15th, and it's just been sitting down here ever since. Yeah. Okay. So right now, breadth is negative across the board pretty much. But no real clear signals. And I think the market is kind of just oscillating. We'll get into why I feel like it's not dropping as easily as, as is being implied by the breadth index. But first, let's take a quick look at options before I switch over back to my trading screen. Expiration tomorrow, Friday. That's the biggest options expiration day, usually the one that matters the most. We've got 400 calls, and we've got 400 calls at 400 and puts at 398. So I'm expecting a close somewhere in this area. I mean, definitely not over 410. That's for sure. But maybe it could close in this area, 405. I don't see why it couldn't. But if they want to hit max pain, that's around the 400 to 398 area. Maybe that's why we are still sitting in that 4,004 area, 4,005. I think I just looked at the SPX. It was 4,040. So that's open interest, and max pain is around 398 to 400. Let's take a look at the calendar really quick. So let's see what came in. Lots of things came in recently this past week. The big thing were earnings, right? So we had the Microsoft earnings. I mean, well, I'll talk about that when I get to the charts, but let's just talk about what came out. Advanced GDP price index, core durable good orders. Everything seems to have come surprising to the upside. Unemployment claims came in lower than expected. So that could also be cause for a bit of a rally here. That should encourage the Fed to have no problem continuing raising rates at the current pace. I don't see why they would slow in the face of really good, actually, economic conditions. I don't see why they wouldn't continue. Friday, tomorrow, we do have core PCE price index coming out. I think that this is going to be a big event for the market. Bigger than anything that's come out today. I think core PCE does seem to cause quite a move in the market. So be careful with this. If you have any positions on today, they'll be deeply affected going into tomorrow because it comes out at 8:30 before market open. I know mine says PM, but it's actually 8:30 AM if you're on the East Coast. Okay, so that's kind of the overview. Let's go look at the charts. I think that's the real thing that you guys are here for, and you want to see are my thoughts on the charts. What is going on? All right, so this is a daily chart of, well, you know what? Let's go to a 3-day chart. Let's go to a 3-day and take a look at what's been going on. Close this. I'm going to delete some of these lines. There's just too many lines on this chart, so we're going to delete a bunch of them. Okay, delete that. So this was my original parallel channel for this bear trend. You can see how we're pushing above. And even if I go in a log scale, regardless, I guess I can adjust a little bit, right? If I go on a log scale and I adjust a little bit, we're still just barely under the line. If I stick to the regular scale, technically we're above it at this point. We are above the downtrend line. And even if I use RSI here and we go all the way back, we're pushing above on a 3-day. It's looking, this could be a significant move. If we can't reverse here, then the market could take off higher. I do want to see a confirmation above these recent highs, 480, 400. You need to see a massive close above, and then we can start considering higher moves, some pullback, lower lows, lower highs. That's kind of what I'm sorry. You want to see higher lows and higher highs. If we can start seeing that sort of development, then we're back into bull mode and the market can take off and move higher. And the bear thesis goes to sleep. The entire bear thesis has pretty much been destroyed the past month of January. I mean, the market's kind of been up only. So there hasn't really been, I mean, there's been some pullbacks, but it's been a brutal up market. I mean, just consolidation in December and then straight up right here from 380 all the way up to 4,000. And we've just sat in this 4,000 area. And it looks like today the market just keeps trying to push higher. That's what I'm seeing on these charts. And if I look at a daily on RSI right here like this, you can see, to me, this was yesterday, that pullback was the sign. So that pullback was your big reversal. And that was the chance to go long. And now we should just push higher. That's what it's looking like to me. I admit I'm not long nearly as much as I would like to be. And that kind of annoys me to a degree, because I really thought that we had one more big down move. And now on the daily, it's kind of confirming that it wants to head higher, and we could go all the way up to 4,300, something like that. But first I want to see what happens in this area. Do we take out these highs? Is this a big fake out? Part of me thinks it's a big fake out. But if I'm following my trading strategy, we're on the other side of the trend line now. We're on the other side of the RSI trend line and price trend line. I should be hunting longs at this point, but I'm having trouble admitting that the bear case is totally over. Part of me thinks this is just some massive fake out, but that also could be my bias speaking. However, on things like the 4-hour chart, right, we do have divergence happening. So you have price making a higher high right here, but you have RSI not making a higher high. So there is that. And here is my original Elliott wave, where we had a wave 1 and then a wave 2. And this has been wave 2. We've just been sitting up here. And then we've got a wave 3 dump, wave 4, and then wave 5. Now, what could happen is there could be a massive breakout with the war in Ukraine. Some huge news could come out and the entire market could crash. It could easily happen. So you have to be very careful with how you position yourself right now. If you rode this rally up, okay, congratulations. But now is not the time to I feel like go crazy with longs. I can't force myself to, at least not yet. I need to see a little bit further of a push, especially on this daily chart, some serious confirmation. If we close up here today and the week up here, I can see about getting long next week. That's when I'll seriously consider it. But for now, I'm cautious, and I think that, you know, there could be a lot of pain if people are not careful in this area. So, you know, if I look at a weekly though, let's look back at the weekly. If we look at the weekly, this was actually your possible long trigger on the weekly right here. This was the possible long trigger. Ironic that that's how that played out. Although we're still below the VIP line. It's not until you get above the VIP line that you can get really, really bullish on any kind of asset. I mean, if we go back here with RSI here, you can see the market dumped, rebounded, came all the way back up here, and then created this like little consolidation pattern, and then finally moved above. And then once we were above, we really took off. And we never even looked back, and we just stayed above that line. And then finally, when we broke below the line, that's when we started our downtrend. So I want to see a push above that midpoint VIP line. I want to see that. Another thing we haven't looked at in a while is SPX divided by money supply. And I want to see M2, not just M2 money stock. I want to see like, just try M2 money stock, but I remember it having an issue last time. They don't update it anymore or something. Okay. Is it still being updated? Okay, yeah, I guess it's okay. If we look here, if we apply the money stock to this, when we look at fibs, you can see we came right down and tagged 61.8 both times and reversed from there. And now we're playing in that 38.2 level. So we've just kind of been playing in this zone, when in reality, what I want is I want to go long down here. 786, 886 area. That's where I would like to be long. So that was kind of what I was looking for. I'm questioning now if we're going to get it, and I'm kind of surprised that we didn't go lower. Also, I want to do is take a look at, and you can see this downtrend line totally on the other side now. Completely. But I'm still going to put an alert down here, although I'm not sure if it's going to work, because it's kind of strange. It's all 0, so it doesn't really make much sense. Let me see something. Money stock WM2NS. I think that was the one that was still updating. So SPX 500 divided by, yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Does that look a little bit different? No, it seems to look almost exactly, it seems to look exactly the same. Yeah, it's exactly, pretty much exactly the same. Okay. Well, there's that. Let's take a look. Okay, so I wanted to talk about earnings. So Microsoft created the fake out with the earnings. So they had decent earnings and then bad guidance. And the market rallied. It was a massive fake out. Like Microsoft rallied it first. Then the guidance came out, was really bad, gave the market a huge excuse to dump really hard. And then the next day rally. And what did that do? That provided a huge amount of liquidity and fuel for the market to then push higher, because they needed to take out a lot of longs before they can push higher. That was kind of the point of doing that. So that makes me lean more bullishly. That's my opinion of why that happened. So that kind of reversal is when you see longs get stopped out and liquidity is provided so the market can push higher. That's Microsoft. I still wouldn't long this on a weekly chart. This does not look great. This needs to break above this downtrend line. On a daily, it's tough to say. You could call this a long, but also, you know, you've got, I can easily see this weekly RSI. This is your big resistance area. So this is a concern. So you have to be careful. It is still in a downtrend. You could easily do this parallel channel, right? So there's your downtrend pretty much there. I want to see it break above before I can consider a long on Microsoft. The next big thing was Tesla, right? So everybody watched Tesla. Tesla gapped up hard and is looking very strong. It went to the bottom end of this downtrend channel, right? So this was the buy on Tesla at $100. Took out the lows all the way down here and then reversed, and it's up over 50% from the lows. It's crazy. But here's the thing. If you look at a weekly RSI, right? Weekly RSI would be like this. Like that. We didn't even cross over yet. This is still in a bear downtrend. I'm going to actually set an alert in case this does cross over. I'll go to a 3-day. That'll give me a little bit more accurate picture. Let's see on the 3-day, did it cross over? Nope, nothing on the 3-day. So I'm going to add an alert if we do get a crossover, because then I can start hunting some longs. But for now, no crossover has happened on the 3-day even. This is not a good sign to me for Tesla. But on a daily, it looks extremely bullish. If I go to a 4-hour, yeah, 4 hours is extremely bullish, but it took off a while ago. The time to long Tesla was down here at $110 a share, stuff like that. You could have easily done this. And then this was your long right up here, kind of on confirmation here. So you would have went long probably in this area, would have been a decent area to go long 121. But even here it's kind of risky though, to be fair, because it could have just continued lower. The really risk-free one is going long like up here at 130, and then you can catch the move up to like 160. Not nearly as big of a move, but a lot lower risk. So yeah, this is the big turnaround in Tesla. Was a bit extreme, as I mentioned. This would have been your long opportunity here around Friday the 20th to Monday the 23rd. This area was your long opportunity, but now you can see we're already coming into a 9 on the 4-hour. And as I showed you at the 3-day and a weekly, it doesn't look great. There's some significant resistance is coming into. So I definitely would be careful with Tesla. And I might even consider hunting like shorts instead of longs. Let me see 1 hour. Yeah, this 1 hour. Once this 1 hour breaks down, I could start hunting for short opportunities. So something to look at and see if it's worth it. I mean, you can see there is already a divergence forming between RSI and price. Price has made a higher high, but RSI didn't. That's already a bit of a red flag to tell you that this rally is kind of running out of steam. There's a lot of gaps that need to be filled. Big gap here, obviously. Gap here that never really got filled at 123. This gap pretty much got filled. Just the gap at 123. I think it could come down to that. I don't see why not. Let me delete this, and let's say this is the top out point and this is the low. Yeah, so 61.8 is in that 123 area, and then you've got 88.6 right down here. So it could easily retrace to this area. I don't see why not, unless the S&P goes on like a massive crazy rally. All right, so Microsoft, Tesla. Are there any other big earnings coming out that anybody is interested in? If not, I'll probably just switch over to DXY. I'm going to talk about that. If anybody says anything on YouTube, Chris, just let me know. But for now, we're going to look at DXY and talk about DXY. So originally DXY I expected to bounce at this midpoint. Let's go to a weekly chart. I thought we would get a bounce at this midpoint of this massive uptrend channel. And we had a 9 come in. Normally, whenever we've had an 8 or 9 come in, you can see how the market's paused or at least bounced. Or at least at minimum paused. This time it did neither. It just kept going lower. Very strange because all of the past incidents going all the way back to 2017, you always had at least a pause or some kind of bounce. And look at all of these. So very strange that nothing happened here and we just kept going lower. Breaking through almost every single resistance level. But here on the daily, it does look like it's trying to pause and reverse. But with the weekly looking as bad as it does, I can't get too bullish on US dollar. I really, I can't. Got to see some kind of reversal in W form here for things to reverse. We'll see. We'll see if it happens. Actually, no, I forgot about NVIDIA, another stock, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, shocking move. Much more bullish than Tesla. Incredible move, broke out of this downtrend channel. And this was kind of your long on the other side. And who knows when this is going to stop. You can see how the daily is already overbought. We took out we're higher than we've been going back to basically May of 2022. So we took out a lot of shorts. Anyone that was short, we took them out. And we're already green on my indicator. We were red. Finally, we went green. So that means the weekly crossed over bullish. Crazy bull signs for NVIDIA. I don't have a trade here. I still think the market is in a very confusing area. And it's risky to take any trades here. I think it's there's significant risk. Okay, so that's NVIDIA. Sorry, let me go back to, we're talking about DXY. And I talked about DXY to then talk about gold. So gold is in this big uptrend, right? So here's your uptrend with RSI. Here's your uptrend with a channel. But it does look like it's stalling a bit. So once this pushes through, we can then start saying, okay, maybe we're going to get our pullback to like 1890 at least, maybe further. Once this drops down, that's when you have to get a little bit worried about gold. I think the rally is kind of exhausting itself. And but I would be careful with shorting until it's confirmed that it exhausted itself. You need to break down this trend line for me. And even this entire uptrend channel, and then gold should oscillate in this area before it finally takes off again. I'd like to see, if the dollar keeps dumping, obviously gold's going to push higher. I would like to see the dollar reverse and everything to kind of pull back, calm down, reset before we then move higher. I think it's healthier in the long term, but I'm not 100% sure. This market continues to defy any kind of logical explanation for things. It's been very odd the past month. Somebody asked, would you take a look at RVN, BTC, and SB T-bond futures, please? And thank you. SB1 T-bond futures. Okay. Yeah, I can. Let me just finish with this. So that's gold. Other commodities I like to look at, US oil. All right. So oil originally was in this downtrend channel. And you see how I completed this 5 wave and then created this ABC. And I thought we would get another 5 wave, but we didn't. And instead, we broke out of this downtrend and it's trying to move higher. I mean, I could adjust it, right? So I could adjust and we could be approximately like this. This also can work. And then we're sort of inside and just kind of breaking out on the other side. And if I move this RSI downtrend line, you can see that we're also on the other side for that. And I go to a weekly. If we use a weekly here, even the weekly is starting to come on the other side, which is interesting because if oil takes off and pushes higher, then that will ramp inflation back up. You'll definitely get an increase in inflation numbers. You do have some huge reversals in oil. So could this be a W? Yeah, if this W confirms, like this is a very obvious W that needs to push a little bit higher to confirm. If that confirms, then according to chaos, let's see where our chaos number takes us. We could push all the way up to 110, 111, back to the highs. I don't think that's going to help anything. It's definitely going to hurt the prospects of the Fed, not raising rates as quickly, because that would increase inflation possibilities. So that could cause them to, okay, we're going to hike a little bit more than we had originally planned because oil keeps going up and causing inflation to go higher. Okay, so that's oil. We talked about oil, gold. What other? I don't want to talk about any other commodities. I'm trying to think. Well, let's talk about the, Sean mentioned he wanted to take a ZB1 T-bond futures. ZB1 US Treasury bond futures. All right. So here they are, and it's looking like on a weekly chart, and maybe we just go to a monthly, 1 month chart. They're trying to put in a bit of a bottom. Definitely trying. There you go. There's your crossover, right? So it can still be bearish, but it definitely looks like it's trying to reverse and push higher again. Yeah, even on RSI, trying to push higher. So definitely a little bit of a reversal happening there, but no clear signals. I couldn't really take a trade off this, to be honest. It's really unclear. Okay. Let's look at. I'm trying to think, are there any stocks that I missed that I wanted to look at? Let's look at QQQs just to see. Let's just see what it looks like compared to the S&P. I spend so much time in the S&P. Yeah, so kind of similar. We're on the 3 days trying to push above. Yeah, if it confirms up here, I mean, I don't see how things can't head higher. If I use it daily, like if I use this, we already pushed past a couple days ago. Right, so there's your fake out and then push up. And now this is just like up only. And if we use this downtrend line, which should be a bit higher, not there, it should be up here. Ironically, though, we're still basically in. Oh, I was on log scale. Oops. So on a regular scale, we are above the downtrend line and essentially in takeoff mode. But if we use a log scale, I think it's extremely interesting to see that we're just barely breaking above it. Just barely. And in fact, if I adjust this just a little bit, like that, this. Okay, it seems to line up decently. In fact, if it's a log scale, then we didn't even break above it yet. We didn't technically break above the trend line. So something also to keep in mind, but RSI did break above it. So RSI does give us that bull signal. I just have a hard time believing this is like takeoff time for the market, but it's possible. It's very possible that there's like, I have this like perma bear thinking to a degree, I guess. And the market's about to prove me wrong, but I need to see a push above here to really, really feel confident and get rid of my theory. You can also see we're tagging the 200-day moving average on QQQs. So I also want to see a push above that. You can see we tagged it before and set up there, and then we had reversed and had our huge crash lower. So just another reason to be careful. I mean, we could even push above it briefly and then come back down, take out all the stops. And I'm sure there's a lot of liquidity up here. Same thing kind of applies to SPX. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look into crypto here. We kind of looked at traditional finances enough, I think. I'll go to a weekly chart. You can see on the weekly, Bitcoin just kind of took off. Here was your downtrend line. Get rid of this. Okay. Here was your downtrend line. We pushed above that. And here's your weekly. Why is this? What is this? Why do I have a trend line there? Okay, so there's this 12-hour trend line. I wanted to see when it crossed. And it's now crossed over. But I'm going to hide it on these higher time frames because I don't want it messing up what I'm trying to talk to you about. Okay, so 3-day or weekly. So there's your weekly, right? Like this. You didn't really have much time to get in. Once this confirmed, this was your confirm, this bar. And you had to get long. Basically, you got long at 21,000. That was your confirm for RSI, barely. So it shows how fast things move in crypto. If you use a 3-day chart, you would have had a little bit more time. Your long would have been here, which would still have been risky, but at least you got in kind of at the bottom. And this I think this was the big signal. And now we've got to look at, okay, what's going on over here? We have an 8 coming in on the 3-day chart. And then a 9 eventually, probably. We've got crossovers happening on the 12-hour and the daily. But the RSI seems to be embedded in this bull area. And when that happens, it means there's a push higher that could come. If we look at kind of this whole area, we can take from the high to the low and see for chaos. Here would be our 2.618 level. Here's our 3.593. The final target, according to chaos, is 25,000. So 25,500. And that would go right above the previous highs from August. That would make sense. I bet there's tons of liquidity up here. I don't see why it wouldn't do that. I think that, and that would satisfy the chaos level. So something to keep in mind. If we go to lower time frames, it's just oscillating, consolidating down here. It's really these higher time frames that matter. And as long as RSI is kind of embedded up here, I don't see any major pullbacks or anything like that. The market will trick you while on lower time frames, it'll put in divergence and all this stuff, but then the divergence doesn't happen, it never comes. And that is simply because the higher time frames are way, way too bullish. So I'm thinking we get this final target at 25,540, and then things probably break down. Maybe it comes this weekend. I don't see why not. That's Bitcoin. Let's look at total. I always look at the total crypto market cap. You can see how it's really taken off here. This was is this a log scale? Let's do regular. So this was our original downtrend line. Also, it took off from that downtrend line and just screamed higher. I can do it daily. And let's get rid of this. Yeah, so here's your daily downtrend line. So long would have been over here on the other side, around 8 billion or so, 800 billion. And you could have rode that up a decent amount into the current area. And now it's just consolidating here before it seems like it wants to push higher. I had really hoped that we would hit this 500 to 400 billion area. Could we still reverse and hit it? Yes, but the chance is less likely. You can see how 3-day 8's coming in again. Daily, you've got slight divergence, and same on all these lower time frames again. And I think it could possibly just trying to fake people out. But again, at the same time, the weekly is just barely in the positive. Like if there was a VIP line here, it'd be just barely above it. So a lot of factors going into this. I would again advise caution. I think you've got to be cautious in this scenario. But if I had to pick a side, I would say more likely in the short term, at least until next week's show, short term is up, but just a little bit higher before you get a decent sized pullback. Okay, so that's the total. Somebody asked for RVN BTC. We can look at that quickly. Raven coin. Wow. Okay. A lot of random spikes with this coin. I mean, I don't see why you can't just buy a little bit and then sell half on a double. It's not even that far away. You only need to get to here, which it's done multiple times. Do I see anything else good about this? No, other than we're at the lows. If you have faith in the team and they're still building and they're not going to go anywhere, it's not a terrible buy. On the daily, it looks a bit bullish. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really trade quote unquote shitcoins too much, so I can't comment, on exactly what to do. I think they're subject to a lot of external market conditions that are beyond your control. So I try to sort of avoid them a bit. I think what could be a play is you could go long in this area and then just set your stop below the lows. But it's a pretty big move percentage wise. So you have to be careful, especially with a coin like this. Okay, so that's crypto coin. Why don't we take a look at Ethereum? Yes, I can. And sorry guys, I'm a little bit tired today. I had a really long day today. I actually totally forgot about my presentation today until Chris reminded me like 10 minutes before. I super long day. So I'm trying to like wake myself up, be more excited. Next week, we'll see, but I might do a pre-recorded one, just because it doesn't seem like there's that many people online at this time. So maybe I do a pre-recorded one, possibly. We'll see. I'll think about it, and then we'll decide as we get closer to next week. But I think if I do something pre-recorded, one, you guys could see me in the daytime, and two, it might be, I could be a little bit more energetic, engaging, to keep you guys interested. So Ethereum, also took off just like Bitcoin. It's kind of just following Bitcoin. It's not really that different, but you can see these big pullbacks, right? 8 hour, 4 hour time frames. You're getting these pullbacks that don't look great. But the problem is your daily is still embedded bullishly. So these could easily be fake outs. You've got a 3-day embedded bullish, and you got a weekly that looks decent, but the weekly, there's no reason why the weekly can't also pull back. So if this was tennis, if anybody's ever played tennis, there's like, you can play the backside, you can play the front near the net, but you should never be stuck in no man's land. And where I feel like we are is no man's land. So it is a dangerous, very dangerous trading spot. And I am not a fan of taking any large trades on either side. I think if you were going to go long, you should have went long before we took off. And now if you're considering going long or considering shorting, both are risky decisions. And you really got to watch these lower time frames. Like on the 1 hour, it looks bearish. It looks like it's going to pull back. But then if I go to higher time frames, it doesn't look too bad. And it looks like it's just pulling back and consolidating before the next leg higher. A little bit of some fun facts and information. Again, same like Bitcoin, you can do a little chaos levels, try to line up things where it kind of makes sense. So 1.618 here would make sense. 2.618 here would make sense. And then 4.669 ends up here at 1,972, right around these highs. Same as Bitcoin, except Bitcoin took out the highs. I think all these coins are kind of similar. You guys know I'm a big fan of Link. I think Link hasn't done much. It bounced from 580. Yeah, same. I feel like all these charts are just like copy paste of each other. Link does not look nearly as good. A bit concerned from what I'm seeing here with Link. 7 coming in, still below this 50 EMA. Here's your, where are we as far as 200-day moving average? 200, it's just tapping into the 200-day moving average. It's just kind of sitting here. It does look like it's trying to consolidate for another leg higher. So if it did push higher, you'd get something like this, I guess, around $8 before you get a decent pullback. Would definitely kill a lot of shorts that are in this one. Maker. Okay, Maker BTC. Let's see. Did I spell that wrong? Maker. USDT. Oh, there's no, let me click on crypto. Maker. USDT. Oh, MKR. I guess it's MKR BTC. Yeah, Maker Bitcoin. Oh, this looks pretty crappy compared to Bitcoin. It doesn't look great to me. I think Bitcoin will probably continue higher and then alts will bounce. That's normally how it works. Normally you get a Bitcoin bounce and then the alts follow later. And you can see that very clearly on this chart. The ratio is making a new low on Maker BTC, and it hasn't been this low since 2020. And you can see how there are spikes immediately after. So Bitcoin probably spiked, and then this spiked, pulled back, and finally had its ultimate, basically 5x spike from the bottom. Yeah, not a big fan of this. I would kind of stick to Bitcoin for now and avoid these. I mean, we can look at even BTCD, right? And you can see how this is just taking off here. Although we are coming into an 8 on the weekly, which could put a bit of a pause. But for now, Bitcoin is destroying, which is to be expected. That's always how it is at the beginning. Trying to think if I have anything else I want to look at for you guys or any like trade ideas. I just don't really. We can check the S&P again, see what's going on there since I started talking about an hour ago. What did I type it wrong? Yeah, you can tell I'm tired of it. I typed it wrong. So still sitting in that 438 area. Go to like a 1 hour time frame. You can see how they're not letting this drop. And that is partially a function of the options expiry, but also the fact that we crossed over on the daily. These are some big bullish crossovers. Yeah, RSI is not clear on lower time frames for this at all. It's a total mess. To me right now, it looks like a push higher unless this happens to be some kind of fake out, which is very possible. It could be, but for now, yeah, definitely it looks bullish. Unfortunately for me, when I wanted it to drop. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait until next week and then I'll reevaluate it again. I don't really have any plans right now. I'm gonna see what happens after the PCE report tomorrow. If the market doesn't move significantly on that, I think the next big thing to watch is, let's see the calendar. I think Powell speaks the week after. So I'm looking unemployment rate, ISM manufacturing. So manufacturing comes out, JOLTS job openings come out. Monetary policy from the big event. Oh, here we go. So Wednesday at 2 p.m. we've got FOMC statement and then a press conference. That's going to be the big market mover. So if the market doesn't have any significant movement tomorrow, the big market mover is going to be Wednesday for sure, for this market. And we may just sit up here until then. I don't see why we wouldn't just sit up here and kill options premiums. And that's why they're doing it. Why don't we, one last thing, VIX. Let's take a look at VIX and then we'll close it out. I feel like I'm all over the place today. I do apologize for that. VIX yeah. Yeah, VIX is just sitting down here playing with this trend line. You could even go a little bit lower. It's just sitting on this trend line, trying to determine if it wants to bounce or just fall apart completely. Looks very negative, but still hanging on. Still the potential for a bounce, but it's definitely not clear. It's extremely low. You can see how it's never really been this low. It has tagged it a couple times, but it always seems to reverse. And that's what should theoretically happen this time, which means VIX reversal, and then the S&P and other assets are pushed lower from that. Okay, so that's a VIX. Anything else? I think that's really it, guys. I don't really have anything else. I think I just wait for the news tomorrow at 8:30. Be careful. being in too many positions. We can really go either way at this point. I am leaning more towards the bull side, but there are certain things about this that just make me wonder, is it a trap? Is it a trap? Okay, I can look at Sol quickly. Quickly. It's basically 1 a.m. here. Yeah, Sol looks exactly the same as all these other charts. You had a big move, price doubled. You got a 9 coming in on the 3-day. It's definitely not in a great area to consider longs. I mean, if you're already long, you can hold a bit, but you can see every time a 7, 8, 9 came in, it basically pulled back. So 7, 8, 9, big pullback, 7, 8, 9, big pullback, 7, 8, big pullback. The only time it didn't was at the start of the Sol rally, where it at least paused for 1 candle. So, you know, and going into next week, you get a pause, and then we should, if it follows all the historical data we have on Solana, it should pull back. You should get a reversal, but I'm not sure. I can't say this market's been extremely difficult to trade, and definitely testing my patience to a degree, and probably a lot of other people. So you just kind of have to wait for essentially more data, which I think we'll have by Monday next week. Anyway, this is not where I would be a buyer. I would wait for a pullback, and if I was long from 11 or 12, I got my double, I'd consider selling at least half and getting out of the position, because the move could potentially be over. Okay, I'm gonna call it a night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Sorry, normally I like to have actionable trades. I just didn't have any today. I think the market is in a precarious place. And to recommend any trades would be kind of irresponsible on my part. Let's wait for next week, see if we get more clarity. Once I have more clarity, you know that I will update my signal room, and I will have way more trades for you guys on the calls, or like trade suggestions. Obviously, I should say, like, these are just trade suggestions. It's not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. Don't try to trade. Also, don't trade crypto on the weekend. It's liquidity hunting shenanigans. Wait until Monday, especially if you're using leverage. They will hunt your stops for sure. Okay, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you on the site. And if not, I will see you from the closet next Thursday, but hopefully it doesn't look like closet because I have a green screen. Anyway, all right. Have a good day, guys. Bye.